What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and as you can see by the big grin on my face, today is the day we are going to be installing some brand new wheels on the Impreza.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
So for those of you that are newer to my channel, I was actually running this setup on my Mazda. These are the 235/40 R18 Vercelli Strada 2s. They are a very, very cheap tire, but have some of the best ratings that were on Fitment Industry. So I went ahead and went with these tires. I gave them a try. I absolutely love them. For a very, very cheap tire, they perform very, very well for all inclement types of weather, and I can't recommend them enough. I will probably end up getting another set when these do eventually wear out. These are the newly released Adhan AH11s, and man, this machine finish silver look, it just popped so good on the Mazda, and I just know it's gonna pop even better on the Subaru. Pop. With this bright Oasis blue, it's gonna look so good. Now, these are rotary forged wheels, meaning that they are lightweight. Now, for those of you that don't know what rotary forged wheels are, I'll let an expert explain.
So flow forming is a process where they take hydraulic rollers to a wheel that's being spun and heated, and then these hydraulic rollers apply pressure to the inside of the barrel, stretching the barrel to the appropriate width, making the wheel lighter and stronger.
So now that you know a little bit more about rotary forged wheels, these are gonna be a huge performance upgrade for us. They're not gonna be groundbreaking, but the car will feel a lot more nimble, a lot more lighter on its feet, shaving off the weight compared to the OEM stock wheels. So all that to say, what are we rocking here? These are 18 by 8.5 plus 35 offset, paired with a 235/40 R18 tire. I believe the factory size on the OEM tire of the RS is an 18 by 7.5 plus 45 offset, and those paired to a 225/40 Yokohama tire. So this is gonna be a little more of an aggressive setup. I'm gonna assume that it's gonna fit pretty much the same way it did on the Mazda 3, giving me a little poke. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and install these bad boys on this car. I'm excited to see what this looks like. Let's do it. All right, guys, so hopping up underneath the car, I wanted to show you guys if this is your first time jacking up the vehicle. So on your Subaru Impreza, this right here is what's known as the pinch weld. So this is where you're going to be jacking up your vehicle. So for those of you that were curious about where your jack points are, there you go. All right, so we got all the wheels off. Here are the two wheels side by side. We have our OEM and our new setup. So being that we are going with a bigger wheel, it may throw off our odometer. There's kind of a science to wheels. So I'll put up a little chart right here showing you basically what the odometer is gonna be reading from our current setup to our new setup. If you're going bigger, you're gonna have obviously more rolling resistance, right? So it's gonna change the outlook on your odometer. So if you're going 70 miles an hour on these, you may be going like 71, 72 miles in reality on your new setup. Just something to keep in mind when you're changing out your wheels. So now that we have them both here, let's go ahead and weigh them and see how much weight savings we're going to be gaining with our new setup. All right, guys, so the results are in. For the OEM wheel, I was getting pretty consistently 47.3. So 47.3 for our OEM wheel. Now for our new setup, I was getting pretty consistently 39.9. So we're looking at 159.6 pounds for all four of these compared to our OEM coming into a weight of 189.2. So if we do our math right, we're looking at a weight savings of 7.4 pounds per wheel. Total, we're gonna be looking at about 29.6 pounds of weight saving all around.
Oh my God! Wow! Nice.
That is huge, considering that this is a much bigger wheel, an 18 by 8.5. That's crazy to think about, but that's the power of rotary forged wheels. So now that we know all the weight savings that we're gonna be gaining from our new wheels, let's go ahead and put them on.
Finally!
So now that we have it all tightened up, what we're gonna need to do is torque it down to spec, and Subaru recommends torquing these wheels down to 89 foot-pounds. And there we have it, guys. That is the installation complete. We are now looking at our new wheel and tire setup for the Impreza. I absolutely love the way it looks. I love the way the brushed silver pops with the Oasis blue. Wheels in general are one of my favorite mods that you can do to your vehicle. It completely changes the way your car will look, and I absolutely love the way this looks. Now, in terms of wheel gap, we're still rocking a good 3 and a small finger. This setup is fairly similar in terms of the tire size compared to the factory size. So There isn't much difference in that aspect, but we did gain that width. It was exactly as I expected. It gives us some poke. It fits exactly how it fit on my Mazda, with a good little poke to it. For me, I like the way that looks. Some of y'all might not like the way it looks. That's fine. That's just personal preference. So when searching for wheels, if you're gonna go 8.5, try and look more towards like a 40 or a plus 38. I think that'll give you the nice, perfect flush fender to tire setup. I do have a couple other things to add. Something I didn't get a chance to film was hub-centric rings. They're fairly cheap. I'll leave some linked in the description down below to the hub-centric ring that I use for these wheels. Help the fitment sit perfectly on your hub. If you don't have hub-centric rings, basically when you go to tighten down your car, but there's a very minimal gap within your wheel and the actual hub itself, so you're gonna have some slight vibration, and you may feel it if you don't have that hub-centric ring. So just something to add when you're installing new aftermarket wheels. And for those of you that don't know, the Impreza has changed its bolt pattern to the 5x114.3, which opens up a wide array of wheels. The 5x100 bolt pattern that this used to have, man, you were very limited to the wheel options. But that's the video today, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up some cinematic footage of the new wheels on the car. So this is Stratty signing out. We'll see you in the next Subaru video. Peace.
But wait! There's more! Several days later.
So before we run those cinematic videos, I wanted to give you a quick update on the setup. It's been about a month running the new wheel and tire setup, and I do have some issues that I want you guys to be aware of. What? If you're thinking about running this exact same wheel setup. As you saw, we do have some poke that did cause us some issues, not up front, but in the rear. At full compression, we were getting some noticeable rubbing. It started to chew through the tires really bad, really fast. So to mitigate that issue, I did have the rear fenders rolled. Now with the rear fenders rolled, it did help quite substantially. However, with load, with 4 people in the car or cargo in the back, I was still having rubbing issues. So what I had to end up doing was grinding down some of the fender well. Now I know that sounds horrifying. It was horrifying to do on my car, but since then I haven't had 0 issues after that second pass of cutting the fenders. So I just wanted you guys to be aware, if you are looking to run a plus 35 offset, I believe the 8.5 is fine. Anything bigger, you're gonna have these same issues, but the plus 35 offset in particular, anything lower than that, you're gonna have serious issues like I'm having. So I'm thinking the perfect sweet spot for an 18 by 8.5 wheel is to stay between plus 45 and about a 38 offset to give you no rubbing issues. Keep that in mind when you're looking for your setup. I just wanted you guys to be aware of the problem that I faced with a plus 35 offset. So let's run the cinematics.